Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video. And since today is Super Bowl Sunday, what I wanted to do was talk about the 5 things the Jets need to do before they could be a Super Bowl contender. But before we get started today, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the podcast and link to the merch store down in the description below. All right, so obviously, especially coming off a 2-14 season, the Jets are far away from a Super Bowl, but not as far as some people think. So really, what do the Jets have to do to be a Super Bowl contender? What does it mean to be a Super Bowl contender? And we're going to look at trends and stuff like that. So the first thing that I want to talk about is having a top offense. There's a phrase in football and in sports that defense wins championships. And to an extent, you have to have a defense. You have to be able to play defense. And maybe not so much in today's game versus years and years ago, but now you really need a top offense to be in the Super Bowl. Let's look at the last 5 Super Bowls. This is a nice sample size, 5 years. So that's the modern NFL and how these teams are ranked. So this year, obviously, is the Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Chiefs have the 6th overall offense in the NFL this year. The Bucs have 3. So that is a top 3 offense in the Buccaneers, obviously. And Pat Mahomes, the best quarterback in football, a top 10 offense. So both of those teams are in the top 10. The Chiefs are arguably the best offensive team in football, even though they don't come in here at number 1, but they are ranked 6th overall. These numbers are coming from Pro Football Reference. So Chiefs at 6, Bucs at 3. 2019, the Chiefs were 5, the 49ers were 2. Those are 2 top 5 offenses. Yes, the 49ers had a really good defense, but let's not minimize the impact the offense had. 2018, the Patriots, who won the Super Bowl, had the 4th overall offense. The Rams, who were the runner-up, had the 2nd overall offense. 2017, the Eagles. You're going to say, but they had a backup quarterback, Matt. Well, in the regular season, they had the 3rd best offense in football. Patriots had the 2nd. 2016, the Patriots 3, the Falcons 1. So yes, you need an elite offense in order to compete in this league and be a real Super Bowl contender. That's just the way it is. Look at the furthest one down the line is the 2020 Chiefs at 6. So you need a premier offense in order to have any sort of chance at winning a Super Bowl in 2021. Coming in at number 2, you need an aggressive head coach. What does it mean to be an aggressive head coach? Well, playing to win the game instead of playing for a tie is a big thing. Pretty much the opposite of what Matt LaFleur did in the NFC Championship game. Don't do that. Going for it on 4th down is a big thing. Playing for the touchdown instead of the field goal, different things like that. Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, Frank Reich are 3 of the better coaches in my mind. And you look at arguably 3 out of 3 of those teams are Super Bowl contenders. Definitely 2 out of those 3. And we'll just look at years gone by in those teams who have had the most success going for it on 4th down. The Chiefs in 2019 were 3rd. In 2018 and 2015, both of those teams were outside the top 10, but the Eagles in 2017 were 3rd, and the Patriots in 2016 were 6th. So usually you have to be in the top 10, and there's the outliers of the 2015 Denver Broncos and the 2018 New England Patriots. Okay, so obviously once you have the coaching upgrade, once you have the offense, what else do you need? Well, better drafting has to be very high up on that list. The Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. They are in the Super Bowl again this year. Mid-round finds. You have to develop your mid-round players. Tyreek Hill, 3rd-round pick. Travis Kelce, 3rd-round pick. Mecole Hardman, 2nd-round pick. Those are the top 3 receivers for Kansas City. Neither one of those guys was drafted in the 1st round. Mecole Hardman was taken in the 2nd round. That's the highest one. So getting talent and finding talent and developing talent has to be huge. And just better drafting overall. One of the reasons why the Jets have missed the playoffs for as long as they have is because awful drafting. Pretty much since, they were set up nicely in 2009 and 2010, due to the draft years during the Mangini era. But then after that, there wasn't much in the 2009-10 draft, and things began to fall apart in 2011 and beyond because of the multiple misses. And then we know the Idzik era was bad. The Maccagnan era was really bad in drafting, and that'll set you back. So Joe Douglas has to find talent with these mid-round picks. And they do have a ton of draft picks, so better drafting is definitely something that has to be here, and not just in the 1st round. Yes, obviously hitting on your 1st round, there's help, but you need to be able to find players beyond rounds 1 and round 2. And I'm not saying you need every single player to be a superstar, but you need to find contributors in rounds 3, 4, 5, and whatever you get in 6 and 7, obviously. And not every single one is going to pan out. I understand that, but the hit rate has to be higher than what the Jets have dealt with over the last decade. That's fair to say, no? So this next one, number 4, is elite quarterback play. And that kind of pairs into having a top offense, but more specifically, you need elite level quarterback play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Pro Football Focus's rankings to look at the quarterbacks that have been in the Super Bowl. And obviously, I mean, you could decide if they're elite or not, but these numbers are just help quantify it. So in 2020, Brady was the second rated quarterback. Mahomes is rated 4th. Obviously, those are top quarterbacks in today's game. Last year, Mahomes was 3rd, Jimmy G 13th. Mahomes, obviously a top tier quarterback. Jimmy G was playing a little above average last year. 2018, Brady was 4th. Goff was 8th. Obviously, that was Goff's best year. Sean McVay got a ton out of him. 2017, Wentz was 6th. Foles was 17th. That's the outlier there, but he came in and played pretty strong. Brady was 1st. 2016, Brady 1st, Matt Ryan 2nd. So on top of having a good overall offense, you need an elite level quarterback, like a top echelon quarterback. So keep that in mind when you are thinking about what you want to do at the quarterback position, whether it be trade for Deshaun Watson, whether it be keep Sam Darnold, whether it be draft someone else. You have to have the quarterback who can do it. The days of winning with the Brad Johnsons or Joe Flacco's of the world it doesn't work that way anymore. The NFL has changed a lot over the last 10 years or so, right? We just look at all these teams over the last 5 years and how heavy it is focused on the offensive side of the ball. That's just the way that football is going. And in order to compete in the AFC, you're going up against, look at all the contenders, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, all have premier offenses. So it's an important thing for sure, and you need great quarterback play. Lamar, Josh Allen's been great. Patrick Mahomes, obviously the best quarterback in football. You need a really, really good quarterback in order to be a Super Bowl contender. And the last thing that I want to look at, a pass rush. Yes, we will talk about defense. The pass rush is probably the most important thing for your defense because you can get by with the weaker secondary if you're getting after the quarterback and causing pressure to the quarterback. So let's look at QB knockdowns. The Chiefs came in 5th this past year. The Bucks were 3rd. 2019, the Chiefs were 8th. 49ers 26th. That was the outlier, but they were so good against the run that they kind of balanced that out a little bit. And in 2018, when this was the first year of the stat being introduced, the Pats were 4th and the Rams were 9th. So for the Jets, they have an interior presence felt already. We understand that in Quinnen Williams, Foley Fatukasi, John Franklin Myers. Those are pretty nice interior defensive line pieces. They need speed on the edge. That would really help set that defense apart and help them get after the quarterback. And that's where Robert Saleh comes in. He is really good at developing and getting pressure via the defensive line. So that's important. Obviously, we know that he can develop talent from his time in San Francisco. We think that Joe Douglas can draft well outside of the first round. We've had flashes of that, so that's a potential plus. The thing they have to figure out, the biggest one, is the offense. What the heck are they doing at quarterback? Because that's going to be huge for the future of this team, and you need a top-tier quarterback to be a Super Bowl contender, and you need to have a good offense. When was the last time the Jets had a good offense? 2015? Before that, 2008, right? Like in 2009 and 2010, the Jets were getting by on their defense and the offense was doing just enough. But for the first half of 2008 was like the last time that the Jets have had this really good offense. That's part of the reason why they've struggled so much, is because they are miles and miles away from being competent on offense. Hopefully that is the change, and that will be the difference between this team being competitive. So those are my 5 things the Jets have to do or have to get before they could be a Super Bowl contender. Let me know what you think down in the comments below or on social media. But for now, I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new. I'll talk to you next time.